Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and in this video, I'm going to cover 5 things men do to try and attract women that usually never ends well. And from a woman's perspective here, I'd highly recommend avoiding any of these things, as I don't believe it'll give you the result that you're looking for, especially if we're thinking in a long-term way here. So the first thing here is using material possessions or wealth. And I think it's important to be careful with what you lead with in dating and relationships. A lot of the times what you lead with in terms of dating and relationships ends up biting you in the butt later. If you try to attract women by flaunting your material possessions or bragging about how much money you make, don't be surprised when that attracts a woman who's only interested in your money or what you can buy for her. I think by doing this, you're much more likely to end up in a highly transactional relationship if you go this route and try to attract women by this tactic. Using material possessions or money to attract women can create a very shallow and transactional basis for a relationship, where genuine connection and compatibility might be completely overlooked. It can also lead to superficial relationships and can attract people who are more interested in what you have or what you can do for them rather than who you are as a person, which can then lead to a more shallow relationship, as well as a lack of authenticity. I think when material possessions are the main focus, genuine connections based on things like shared values, your personalities, and interests might be completely overlooked and be kind of overshadowed by what you're leading with, which is not great. Another element of this is financial strain. I think sustaining a relationship based strictly on material possessions can be financially draining and also unsustainable in the long term. So my advice, don't do this, and don't set false expectations in the beginning that you're unable to sustain long term. And this goes for things other than just material objects or anything financial or monetary as well. Next up, we have dishonest tactics and mind games. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, as I always like to say. The reality is that if you have to be dishonest or play games and trick someone into liking you, it's probably not a great match to begin with. I think we can all agree on that. Healthy relationships require clear communication, honesty, and authenticity, none of which are happening while you're playing tactics or mind games. And while dishonest tactics or mind games might work for a short period of time for attraction, there's usually an expiration date here, as it's not sustainable long term. I've seen and reacted to so many videos online of people promoting these tactics and these mind games and tricks in order to attract a partner, and it is just not a message that I will ever personally get behind, as I think it's often a short-term gain with long-term consequences or a downfall. No thanks, we're mature adults here, we don't have time for this. Seeking support from professionals can provide valuable insights and guidance as you navigate the complexities of dating. Therapy can give you tools to approach your life or dating specifically in a very different way. It sure did for me, and that's why I'm so excited to tell you about today's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp makes starting therapy easier and for many people much less intimidating. BetterHelp lets you have therapy sessions as a phone call, video chat, or even messaging, whatever's the most comfortable version of therapy for you. BetterHelp can match you to one of over 30,000 therapists in their network based on your needs, preferences, and location, which gives you access to a wider range of expertise than may be available in just your city. Join over 4 million people who've used BetterHelp to start living a healthier, happier life. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/CourtneyRyan. Clicking that link helps support this channel and also gets you 10% off of your first month of BetterHelp, so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. To get started, you just fill out a questionnaire that will ask you questions about what challenges you're going through and what kind of therapist you would like. You'll be matched with a therapist in most cases within 48 hours. And because finding a therapist is a little like dating, if you don't really fit with that therapist, which is a common thing with therapy, you can easily switch to a new therapist at no additional cost. So click the link down in the description or visit betterhelp.com/CourtneyRyan. Thank you again, BetterHelp, for supporting this channel. The next thing is pretending to be someone that you're not. Going off of the dishonest tactics and mind games point, we have, again, pretending to be something or someone that you're not. I think leading with inauthenticity never turns out well. Pretending to be someone or something that you're not in order to attract a person isn't genuine or authentic, and I can almost guarantee it will not lead to a healthy relationship blossoming between the two of you. Building a relationship based on honesty and genuine self-expression is crucial for long-term compatibility and a mutual understanding between you and your significant other. And pretending to be someone else creates false expectations and prevents the development from a genuine connection built on acceptance and trust, which is necessary. It's better to be true to yourself and find someone who appreciates that and connects with the real you rather than a fake version of you. This is just not something that's sustainable long term and often leads to resentment later down the line. The next thing here is being overly persistent or rushing things. When a man is overly persistent and constantly is chasing a woman in an attempt to attract her, it can make the woman feel incredibly pressured, uncomfortable, or even harassed if her feelings are not reciprocated. I'm all for going after the things that you want in life, but I think this becomes really tricky when another person is involved. There's a huge difference between pursuing and chasing, and we want to avoid the latter of the two. I think people often get very clingy and needy when they feel insecure or really struggle with anxious attachment. I've actually done some videos where I discuss this more in depth, and I read an incredible book called Attached. I'll link it below from my Amazon storefront for you guys just so you can check it out if you're interested. When I was dating, I was someone who really struggled with being anxiously attached, and if I had read the book Attached during this period of my life, I think it would have helped me so much. So whether you're single, in a relationship, whether you're married, I think this book is so beneficial and powerful, and I would highly recommend it. And that is because healthy relationships are built on mutual interest and respect, not a one-sided pursuit that completely ignores the other person's wishes. So we don't want to be chasing. It's an absolute no-no. And rushing things doesn't do you or the other person involved any favors either. Often when we put these time constraints on things, we panic. It creates unnecessary pressure, stress, and just an overall really negative experience and result, usually for both people that are involved. Trying to move too fast or rush things can actually do the complete opposite of what you're going for and can scare the other person off. This can make the other person involved feel uncomfortable, intimidated, and even uninterested. So for this one, I think it starts with you and really working on building up your self-esteem and creating secure attachments. We don't want to be rushing or chasing, and I think a lot of people go in with the expectation that this is going to attract another person and make them like you even more, when in reality it usually does the complete opposite. And lastly, we have showering with excessive gifts and praise. Showering a woman with excessive gifts and praise in dating can be a huge turnoff and a mistake long term because it creates an unsustainable dynamic that is based on materialism or superficial admiration or lust rather than genuine connection and a mutual respect between two people. Over time, this can also make the woman feel really overwhelmed or suffocated, and even sometimes suspicious of the man's intentions, which can lead to a strain in the relationship. I think it's so important to build a relationship based on authenticity, respect, and shared values rather than any sort of material gestures or excessive praise. I think another way to describe this one would be putting someone on a pedestal as if they can do no wrong, and you are so worried about, I have to get this girl to like me, she's my only option, versus do I even like her? And again, this goes back to rushing things as well. I think a lot of the points I made today are intertwined, but it's usually not a good thing and something that I would not recommend doing to attract a woman. But all right, guys, that's all I have for this video. If you liked it or found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be in the loop for when I release new content. What are some things that maybe you've done in the past or you think men should avoid doing in terms of attracting a woman? Men, I would also love to hear from you on the flip side here. And what are some things women should avoid doing that maybe they're doing to attract men that they might think is giving one outcome when in reality it's maybe leading to a not so great one? Would love to hear from you guys down in the comments. If you haven't already, be sure to follow me over on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. I love connecting with all of you guys over on there as well. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.